Throughout history, many professional wrestlers have tried to make the jump from the ring to the big screen. Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Bill Goldberg, most famously Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who was, still probably is, a major force in Hollywood for the last 10, 15 years. I think my favorite has to be Dave Bautista. Really love him in things like Guardians. He's great as Drax, and even his smaller roles in things like Blade Runner 2049 and Dune. John Cena, the face of the WWE for the past, 20 years? It seemed only natural that at some point he would also try to make that jump from the ring to movies. Full disclaimer, not a fan of John Cena, at least not in the ring. I always found him to be super corny. I just have never enjoyed what he does. As an actor, I really hated him up until the past few years. I think he's actually found his niche. I think he's a really good, fun, action comedy star where he's not taking things too seriously, where he can be funny and silly, but also be kind of serious. As a full-blown serious actor, John Cena stinks. WWE films. Around the mid to late 2000s, WWE decided that they're going to start producing their own films featuring many of their own stars. The wrestlers were the stars in a lot of these movies. Great concept, produced some really great results, also some really ones. We got this movie. I saw this when it first came out back in 2006. I haven't watched it since. I remember it being really insane and just thinking that it was really stupid, but I'm different now. I think differently about the films I watch. So load up your machine guns and strap in, soldier. It's time to watch The Marine. We open in Iraq at an Al-Qaeda compound. Of course we do. Some soldiers have been captured by filthy terrorists, and they're being filmed for what I assume is going to be a beheading video, probably one that I watched on LiveLeak when I was 14. And there he is, John Cena, the Marine. He's got on war paint, and he's watching the terrorists through a hole in the wall, and you know what? He doesn't have time for this shit. The orders. He's going in. And before the terrorists can say Allah Akbar, he busts through the door and mows these motherfuckers down. He's screaming and shooting and grenading and shooting and stabbing. He's a one-man army, and this is fucking awesome. He rescues the boys, and they head out of the compound as a plane carpet bombs the piss out of these terrorists. Fuck you! Fuck you, America! Fuck you! Stanley Kubrick couldn't make propaganda this good. Fast forward, we're at the Marine Corps Special Ops Command in Germany. Everybody's in the weight room when the colonel comes in and he's asking for John Triton, which is John Cena. They changed his last name to Triton. I love that. A crazy name. I bet Vince McMahon named him that. It sounds like the name of an action figure from the 80s. And John is very anxious and very sweaty about this meeting. The colonel tells him that he disobeyed a direct order saving all those men in Iraq. He's being discharged. He responds with a great line, "But sir, I'm a Marine." Like the title of the movie. If you didn't know, he is the Marine. He arrives back home in the suburbs of what I can only guess is Florida. Please, God, let it be Florida. His hot blonde wife looks out the window and sees him get out of the cab and runs out and practically f***s him in the driveway. He carries her inside, presumably to give her 30 to 45 seconds of passionate pounding. They're making out on the bed. They're making out on the kitchen counters. It went from being light to dark outside. They're still fully clothed. I guess they've just been kissing for the past 6 hours. He's got to be hard as a rock. Hard as the rock. His girl is played by actress Kelly Carlson. She was in a show called Nip Tuck that was on FX back in the mid to late 2000s. One of maybe the most unhinged show I've ever watched. I highly recommend it. It's truly insane. In case you forgot, I fell off. I'm still hot and I could swell off. She's telling him that, she's always been very scared because of his job, but now he's home. He's out of the military. He's safe. He starts a new job tomorrow. He's super happy and has a hard boner. Then he takes her back into the room where I assume that they're just going to kiss fully clothed for another 3 hours. We're now introduced to our main bad guy played by Robert Patrick. We get a very cool, very long shot of him getting out of his car. He enters a diamond store where he beats down a security guy, and him and some goons that he had planted in there, they rob the place. He even uses a hostage to get the guy in the vault to open the door, but surprise, she's a plant too. They get the diamonds, he shoots the vault guy, and they all leave. He says something about being in South Carolina, so not Florida. Close enough though. As they're leaving, we hear sirens headed their way, so Patrick pops the trunk, pulls out an M4, and he starts lighting up a cop car. Then another guy on the sidewalk pulls out an RPG and blows the cop car up. Like, look at this. This movie rules. The cops show up to the scene and they're perplexed. They're like, how did these guys pull this off? Cut to the lobby of a corporate office. We see John. He is now a security guard. In walks in some douchebag on his cell phone who has no respect for anybody. I love the undertones here. White collar workers are assholes. Military, good. Businessman, bad. John's coworker is kind of this lazy goofball. John is like, Jesus Christ, is that all that this job is? You just mess around all day long? Like, I'm gonna hate this. I need to see some action. He gets his wish very soon because this asshat that walked in earlier, he's upstairs berating his ex-girlfriend, calling her a whore. John goes up there, tries to intervene. Sir, can you please calm down and leave the premises? This guy's like, no, f*** you, asshole. I'm not going anywhere. John's had enough of that. He grabs the dude and tosses him out. What's awesome is that this is his first day and he's just manhandling this dude. Like, he can't even have gotten most of his training done. In the lobby, this jerk off, his buddies then start a fight with John, who just kicks the living shit out of all of them. He's tossing them around like they're sacks of potatoes. He's breaking all kinds of furniture. Eventually, he tosses the main guy through the glass front of the building onto the sidewalk. Asshat gets up, he's like, you guys are so screwed. John's tie is also really short here. John gets fired, which is pretty cool. I mean, getting fired day one for being a security guard because you threw a guy with a ponytail through a table in the lobby. Like, that's awesome. I like that. At a casino, Robert Patrick, his name is Rome, and the hot chick from the heist, they're having a chat. She's like, you went off of the plan today. What's the deal? And he's like, shut the fuck up, bitch. We're rich, aren't we? And they make out very hard. He gets a call, and some guy's like, hey, good job, but you killed 2 cops. And one of my guys. What the fuck, man? He's like, hey, I don't care. I'm in control now because I have the diamonds. And they arrange to meet tomorrow. John gets dropped off by his former co-worker. Kate asks him about work, and he's like, it was good. And then on the TV, we see him throwing that dude through the front of the building. The news crew got there pretty damn fast to get all that. That's impressive. She's like, geez, buddy, maybe you shouldn't have started working right away. Maybe we should just go somewhere. Take a little vacation, you know. Now we're at a chop shop. Morgan, who is the guy from the sidewalk, he blew up the cop car. He's going to meet some guy. I don't really know. I was a little confused about what was happening during this scene. They make some joke about rock candy. I don't know. I guess Morgan is going to be driving a car to do something. Maybe the diamond exchange. I'm not sure. The car that they have for him is this old minivan, and he's like, oh, you, man, I'm black. Black dudes don't drive minivans. I'm black. And he just keeps kind of saying that he's black. Black guys don't drive minivans. And the other dude is like, well, Rome said you should be inconspicuous. Like a minivan's going to look, that's going to be good. Morgan then, before he gets into the minivan, he looks over and sees a black Cadillac. So he gets into that and drives off. I was just very perplexed by this whole scene. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we saying all of this? Also, if you're a black guy and you drive a minivan, like, if I see you, I'm gonna applaud you because you're breaking stereotypes, and that's good. Cut to a long aerial shot of John and Kate's Suburban rolling along the coast. Probably so we can hear a good chunk of the only song that this movie paid for, which is Sunshine by Lil Flip. Banger. They stop at a gas station and she's like, can you get me a Diet Coke? Typical woman. As John's walking in, Rome is walking out. Oh no. And his goons are posted all over. There's some guy on a motorcycle that pulls up. Then some highway patrolmen pull up in this Camaro cop car. It's very cool. And all of the crew, they're all freaking out like, oh no, what are we gonna do? Oh no. And I'm just like, I don't know, wait 5 minutes? These cops don't know what you're there to do. Just chill out. They'll fill up their car and leave, guys. I'm sure of it. The cop starts chatting up Rome and he gets really tense. Morgan panics, walks up to him, and puts a bullet in this cop's dome. Jesus Christ! Rome starts unloading on the cop that's in the cop car, and then John books it to get his wife when one of his goons whacks him in the face with a fire extinguisher. The goons leave, but not before killing the poor gas station attendant. The other cop, I don't know, I think he's completely dead. They kidnap Kate because Rome says, we might need a hostage. We did just murder 2 police officers and a gas station attendant. John wakes up in a daze, and then Morgan shoots some spilled gas, which lights the place on fire, and the whole place explodes in one of the most egregious movie explosions I've ever seen. John gets knocked back hard. He comes out unburned and unhappy. He runs very fast to the Camaro cop car while shit is still exploding behind him. He removes the cop inside, who, thank God, is not dead. He smashes out the windshield with a baton and then peels out. He radios into dispatch about the situation and says that the perps have a hostage. My wife! He's weaving in and out of traffic, going 120. He catches up to them, and then we get another weird rock candy joke from Morgan. Like, what is the deal with this? Then they start blasting at him. So he grabs a bulletproof vest and uses it as a shield. Awesome. And this car is getting shot the fuck up. Like, it's looking like a T-1000. He keeps trying to run them off the road. They're still shooting. Rome decides to take it off-road through a work site. There's high-vis and hard hats jumping out of the way everywhere. And John has fucked this car up. It's missing the hood, the windshield's gone. Now it's missing a bumper. The whole top gets sliced off by a backhoe. Then one of the goons says, "Hey, Jesus, what is this guy, like the Terminator?" I already made that joke. Rome parks the car sideways, and they shoot the fuck out of John as he barrels towards them. Somehow he ramps his car off of the Suburban, and they proceed to shoot the shit out of it, blowing it up. John falls out of it, and you know we got them Timbs on. And Kate seems to be more pissed than upset. Like, you just killed my husband, you murderers! Rome is like, whatever, we're still gonna make this drop. Let's get out of here. We'll go through the swamp, the cops can't track us. Then Morgan makes my favorite joke of the whole movie, where he tells everybody to watch out for crocodiles.
Watch out for crocodiles.
I gotta talk about the humor in this movie. It's not good. Every joke is like kind of like stupefying with how little sense it makes usually. But this one made me laugh. I don't know why. Cops are on the scene at the gas station, or what's left of it. He goes to find the SUV and the burned out Camaro when John comes out of the woods. He's like, "They have my wife. I'm gonna find them." Detective's like, "Hey, I can't give you permission to do that." And he's like, "I don't need your permission. Fuck you." And he runs off to find them. They're trekking through the swamp, which really feels more like a riverbank to me. I don't know. I'm not good with geography. I'm from the Midwest. Morgan and Viscera, they get into a fight, and so Rome shoots him. Then some alligators come out and they eat his body. Hell yeah. Swamp police are scouring the area. They got boats, they got helicopters, they got dogs. John is hot on their trail because cops are idiots and Marines are very smart. He finds Viscera's knife and he's like, "God damn it." And then he just keeps running. Rome stops to call his associate, and he's like, "Hey, guess what? We, royally fucked this entire thing up. It was all our fault. And because we fucked everything up, you're not getting anything. We're keeping all the diamonds. Fuck you." Choppers fly overhead, so they start to hide, and John is still tracking them like a psycho. Then we have this really weird scene where Rome hits on Kate. It was so strange. I really, really hated this a lot. Again, the humor in this is just the worst. But John's coming until he gets ensnared in this net trap, which he cuts himself out of in about 1 second. But then he comes face to face with a shotgun wielding bumpkin. And then he gets knocked out by another one. The cops are dangerously close to Rome and the boys, but they are stupid idiot cops, so they just move on. These hillbillies have John tied up in an old warehouse, and they think that he's a cop. And he's like, "I'm not." And they punch him a lot. He distracts them, then does this really cool chair flip to like break out of it, and then he proceeds to destroy them both. With that out of the way, he can continue his pursuit and find his wife. The band of criminals have stopped at this lodge. I don't know. It's like a bar, but nobody's there. And then we get this really weird story from Morgan about going to summer camp and a camp counselor and rock candy. And it sounds like Morgan had gay sex with a camp counselor when he shouldn't have. What the fuck? Morgan goes outside to find the generator, and he gets some cool tunes playing upstairs when, surprise, John Triton. They fight under the shack. John gets hit with a bottle in the face, and then he stabs Morgan. Bye, Morgan. Rome steps out to call the chop shop guy, and he's like, "Hey, plans changed. Leave a car at this spot. We're going to Phoenix." He tells the other guy that's with him, "Hey, go try and get one of those boats out there started, and also check on Morgan." And surprise, John Triton. They punch and kick the shit out of each other until John chokeslams him through some crates and then breaks his neck with his Timbs. Detective shows up and he's like, "Wait here, John." He's like, "Hell no." They cut the power. Katie runs out the door and her and girlfriend fight. John rolls into the shack like an armadillo with the detective behind him. Detective aims his gun at Rome, but then He aims his gun at John. Oh shit. This is the guy who Rome has been in contact with the whole time. He's in on it. And he's like, Rome, I want my cut. Rome's like, that's fine. Shoot this motherfucker and you can have whatever you want. But he waits too long. John grabs him and uses him as a human shield while Rome sprays bullets. John hops behind the bars. Rome keeps shooting. He's getting covered in peanuts and old beer. So gross. Rome goes outside and they grab Katie and he shoots the propane. I don't know. Something that explodes. This causes another egregious explosion. John jumps out the window into the water just in time. They throw her in the trunk of the detective's car and take off. And then a swamp cop shows up and tries to arrest John. John does an Uno reverse on him and arrests him and then steals his boat. Rome and girlfriend then steal a semi-truck. John is in the boat listening to dispatch about a hijacked truck. I don't know how they know that this just happened, but they do. It's nighttime now. They're at a truck stop, which John knew they would be at, and thankfully it's right next to the water. He hops out of the boat and onto the back of the semi, and they're like, what the hell was that? When he flings open the passenger door, he grabs girlfriend and launches her into a bus, I guess? The diamonds go everywhere, and there's blood all over them. God damn. John's on the outside of the truck now, so Rome runs it through some shacks trying to shake him off. He finally does, and then Rome crashes the truck through another egregious explosion. Rome bails, leaving Katie inside as she smashes into more exploding things. She is going to be cooked after this. I like my white women well done. John's chasing after the truck when Rome takes his legs out with a pipe. The truck goes out the end of the warehouse, which of course explodes, and then the truck lands in the water, which is convenient because I'm sure she's pretty hot. John and Rome fight in the fiery warehouse as Katie drowns. It looks like John has the upper hand when, surprise, a pile of flaming boards falls on top of him. Now Rome is in control and he beats him with some stuff some more, and then he grabs a chainsaw to skin his ass raw. John fends him off, punches him a bunch of times, and then, surprise, a flaming basketball hoop falls onto Rome, and then the whole place explodes again as John does the craziest leaping dive into the water. Still got them Timbs on, though. He gets to the truck, and Katie is dead. She's handcuffed to the interior, which he breaks off like the Hulk. He carries her to shore and begins giving her CPR, but it is not working. Wake up, Katie! Wake up, Katie! Finally, she wakes up, and they hug when, surprise, Rome. He's still alive and looking extra crispy. God damn. He chokes John with a chain, which John Uno reverses on him and snaps his neck like a dog on a leash. Awesome. The cops show up, finally, you fucking idiots. Idiots! John makes a joke about how they should have just gone to the beach instead. The end. During the credits, there's a song playing. It's a John Cena song called If It All Ended Tomorrow. And I kind of forgot that he had this whole like rapper persona, and he even put out a whole album. It's actually not too bad, but I think that Be a Man is better. And man, what a fun time. Like, that was so insane, over the top, dumb as shit. What's not to like? Nothing in this movie makes any sense. And I think that's why I like it so much. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of humor in here, and most of it leaves you scratching your head. Like, half of the jokes in here, I'm like, I don't even know who could write a joke this bad. But it seems like all the actors are really putting in the effort. They're all trying. Robert Patrick is great, always. But everybody, they're all good. Except for John Cena. He is trying, though, too. So can't fault him that much. I even like Morgan a lot. And yeah, John Cena's character, the least interesting. Like, he's so boring and dull. But it is really fun watching him just be like an absolute animal on screen and just killing everybody. And he got them Timbs on. The story, incredibly stupid. We have this dishonorably discharged Marine whose wife is kidnapped by maybe the dumbest criminals of all time. They completely botched their own diamond handoff at a fucking gas station. The movie starts off with them executing this meticulously planned and flawless diamond heist, which makes them out to be geniuses, but then they show up at a gas station and literally kill everybody who's there. They then kidnap this ex-Marine's wife, who is somehow able to track them through all kinds of crazy terrain and situations and murders every single one of them. It's a great movie, don't get me wrong, but the story just is so dumb. Robert Patrick being in this, obviously very well known for his role as the T-1000 in Terminator 2. And they literally cannot help themselves not only referencing the movie, they straight up rip off scenes from Terminator movies. Him running through all the shacks, T3. The semi-explosion Terminator 2, I mean, almost identical. Robert Patrick's driving the semi, for fuck's sake. John's apparent invincibility. He is literally a Terminator. The one thing I will say is it did kind of feel a little anticlimactic, or maybe it just didn't really build, like the beats were maybe a little bit off. Like it doesn't hit at the right time, I felt like. But also, I don't care. Despite all of the long slow motion shots where they're trying to pad the runtime, it still moves crazy fast, and I thank it for that. If you like your action movies really, really stupid, your explosions really, really big, check this out. The reviews are not good, but do not let that deter you. Just turn your brain completely off. There are 6 Marine movies, all starring different WWE wrestlers. I don't know that I'm ever going to watch any of the other ones, but hey, never say never. I just can't imagine that any of them are as fun as this one was. There is also 12 Rounds, which is another WWE Films movie starring John Cena. I will definitely be watching that one because it seems like it's doing something very similar. But what do you think? Have you seen The Marine? Do you think it's fucking awesome? Go ahead and sound off in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel for more, and as always, thank you for watching. Bye.